Hello, hello, welcome. My phone is blowing up with people still joining. What a fun day. I can't believe how many of you guys I get to hang with today. I'm trying to find Lorelai to see if I could bring her on and make sure that she can message me, because I don't usually use the webinar. We have too many people to do like the normal Zoom, I think. So you guys are learning with me. Welcome to my masterclass of learning how to use this side of Zoom. You raised your hand. Okay. Wait. Does that put you to the top? It sure does. I'm promoting you to a panelist, just so I at least have one person on my side. And then let's see if I can even make you a co-host. We did it. Hi, guys. This is Daddy Lorelai. We call everyone on our team Daddy. If you guys have heard me talk about my program, Daddy Energy. So we call everyone, like everyone on my team is a daddy. They daddy things up in their own way and add their own sparkle and magic for you guys. So say hello to Daddy Lorelai. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop my slides up, and then we're going to get started. You can see my slides. Sweet. Let's do the thing. Okay, you guys, welcome to the Mantra Masterclass. I have so much energy in my body around teaching you guys this that honestly, I'm like a little nauseous because I'm like so excited, because I understand at such a deep level, like how liberating teeny shifts of language can literally feel like someone just letting all of the air out of a pressure balloon in your body. Just imagine teeny shifts of language that can make pressure, that can make the sensation of pressure feel like it just went and deflated. Like, there's so much power in this. And I'm going to give you guys examples because I'm not sending anyone away unless you fully fucking believe me. I'm here to make sure that you fully fucking believe that everything that I say, because if that's true, you walk away with power. And that's my intention for you, is that you walk away today with more power, and that you physically can feel it. You can feel that energy. You can feel that sensation. You can feel that power inside of your body. Cool. Can we all just take a moment and thank Dejan, Daddy D, for these like super hot ass slides, by the way? She surprised me. I opened these up and I was like, dang, these are hot. Loving the vibes. Okay, if you guys are new to my world, because I do think that there's actually quite a few of you that don't know me very well, and this might be your first introduction. Is that fucking with the slides when I do that? Lorelai?
You do it again? It seems like, yeah, you're fine. You can still see the full slide.
Okay, but I don't want them to see the other slides. I want them to just one.
You see a little bit above and below.
Okay, I don't want, that's fine. Okay. I just want to make sure that, okay, that's fine. I'm going to leave that exactly how it is. Cool. Thank you. Okay. So I know some of you guys are new to my world. I know quite a few of you guys just recently found me through Catherine, who's one of my private clients. So I just want to say thank you for coming from her world to my world. And I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an introduction. Like, why the fuck should you even listen to anything that I say? So just to take you guys really far back really quickly, I do have one of those, kind of like broke, homeless, side of the road stories to like a rags to riches story. When I was in 2002, I got pregnant. The father of my child, when he found out that I was pregnant, also found out that his ex-girlfriend was pregnant. He got two girls pregnant within 2 weeks of each other. Honestly, 40-year-old myself is like, dang, that was really rough for him. And we both were kind of panicking in that moment. I don't think that we maybe made the most useful decisions that we could have in the moment. And also, I think that they were probably the most karmic decisions that we could have made in the moment. And I'm happy for all of them. But the truth of my story was that he had me pack up all my belongings, drop me off on the side of the road by the mall with all my things in a black trash bag. And I had to call my best friend's mom to come get me off the side of the road. I had nowhere to live. I had to move out of the state to move back in with my mom. I was taking a bus to work, making $5.75 an hour to start to save up money for diapers and baby accoutrement. And realizing that I was about to become a mom, but more importantly, a single mom. And my life was a mess. Before I got pregnant with my son, I was a stripper, doing cocaine, selling drugs, and basically fucking my soul away for a false sense of power. When my son lovingly dove into my uterus from soul form, I realized that I needed to change my life and I had to mean it because it wasn't just about me anymore. And I remember one night in the middle of the night, one of those 2 a.m. feedings, rocking my son. He's crying. He's not latching. My boob hurts. Life feels like it sucks. I don't have any money coming in. The father of my child isn't present with me. And it feels very scary. But I'm looking down at this teeny little human who is now completely dependent on me. And he's crying and I'm crying and the tears are literally falling off of my face onto his. I can't tell whose tears are whose anymore. And I remember looking into his face saying, I promise you, I will become a woman that you can be proud to call mom someday. And I meant it with my whole soul. And I have been spending every day of my life since then fulfilling that promise, not just to him, but then to my daughter who came later. And I wanted to live a life that eventually my children could duplicate, that really, truly set them free. I didn't know it in the moment. I didn't know how to say it in that way. I just knew that I wanted to make it better. But now I know it's about freedom. Freedom is my kink. It is the thing that turns me on the most. It is the thing that lights me up in this world. It is the thing that makes me want to tell some very vulnerable, sad ass stories on the internet. Sometimes crying in front of people. I'm a Virgo. I don't like to cry in front of people because I care so much. I know it is why I am in a human form, is to exist for my freedom and yours. So the cool part of the story is that I do believe that I have achieved freedom at a level that most people don't even know exists. But what happened first was I started building a business back in 2011. My first month, I made $50 and I was psyched because that money helped pay for gas. That was at that time when gas was like $5 or $6 a gallon or something like that. Remember when gas was like, there's still at that time that was like crazy. Actually, I think there's still places where gas is that expensive. But I started getting a taste of like what it could be like to be in charge of my own life and create what I thought was freedom, but at that time was simply just financial freedom, bringing money in. I did all of the things that society promised me would equal freedom. I had the house, I had $1 million house, have $1 million house, money in the bank, bills were paid, Mercedes in the driveway, investments, assets. And on Christmas morning, I think this was 2018, I was sitting there with my family watching a Christmas movie, and everybody else was watching the movie. My kids were on the floor, kind of going through inventorying their Christmas presents. And I remember looking at my husband at the time and thinking, like, he looks so peaceful, like he couldn't have a care in the world. And I was so jealous. I was so jealous because it felt like I was choking on poison. I had all the things that everyone promised would equal freedom, and I was not free. I was choking on the poison of anxiety. And I said in that moment, and again, it was like that promise that I made to my son, I made a promise to myself. And I said, I will never get to the end of the year and feel like that again. And that was the beginning of my internal freedom journey that I've been on ever since. So it wasn't until a couple years later that that healing journey really sped up. And this is where you guys are coming into my world now. I learned about this modality called rapid resolution therapy. This modality helped me start to heal from PTSD. I had PTSD from my husband's PTSD from his military career. And I realized that as a caretaker of someone with PTSD, I now had caught the flu and I needed to figure out how to heal that for myself. And so I walked into this therapist's office. I said, I need to get rid of this, and I just can't let it go. You know, you hear all those mantras where it's just like, surrender, let it go. I have a tattoo on my wrist that says surrender. And I was trying. I'm not someone to like cling to things. I don't stay, caught up in old shit. I don't bring up old shit, but my mind was just so connected to this event that had happened that was causing me emotional suffering. And try as I might, try all of the rage rooms, the scream therapy, exercise, meditation, mantras, all of it. I tried everything. I couldn't get rid of it. And it felt like it had me. And I walked into that therapist's office, and within 60 minutes, he said, do this, see this, do this thing, blah, blah, blah. In fact, he talked most of the time. He even barely let me get a word in edgewise. I was like, when's the therapy going to start? Like, I got some shit I got to get off my chest here. By the end of it, he goes, okay, take in a deep breath, think the word release. Now check for that feeling. And it was gone. If you had said, cause that feeling that was causing you suffering just one more time and I'll give you $1 million, I couldn't have asked you to write that check. It was gone. And I looked at him, and I remember saying, looking at this like 60 something tall, white-haired man with a beard dude. And I said, what the fuck did you just do to me? And he laughed, and he slowly walked across the room. He handed me this book. If you guys can see me in the little corner, it's called Life-Changing Conversations with Rapid Resolution Therapy by Dr. John Connolly. And that book and Dr. Connolly have changed my life. And now I'm going to change yours. We're going to create the beginning of some change. Some of you guys have been on this journey with me for a while, maybe even since then. Some of you guys, you're brand new to this, and we're getting started today. And I started becoming obsessed with studying this modality because I had never experienced something where it felt like I walked into a room and someone just hit the delete key on my suffering. That's what it felt like. I couldn't access it. Still to this day, I can't close my, when you can think of an event and you're just like, I'm still fucking pissed about that. Like, if you can still feel it, there's somewhere in your mind that's still perceiving it as happening now. And what I realized is that all of those moments were causing me long-term suffering. And I started one by one going through each of these things that were causing me some sort of emotional pain, long-term emotional pain. And I just kept going back, delete this, fix this, delete this. And what I started learning for myself is that there are some things that we can do. What I'm going to teach you guys today is I'm going to teach you guys little hacks. These aren't going to be what maybe if you guys have been in my program, like Regulate, or if you've been in my program WAP, which is Wealth Alignment Patterns, these aren't going to be where I'm going to go through and I'm actually going to, hit that delete key like Wayne Brown did with me during that first therapy session, or like Dr. Connelly does with me often. There's a lot of resources for that. My team can make sure, Lorelai, will you just follow up and give them like the Monday Night Solutions call and like Regulate and WAP and all the things? So they have lots of options, Wayne's information, John's information, of course. So you guys can have that. But for now, these mantras are meant to support some intentions that feel valuable to you in your life. Do you notice how I didn't say the word important and I said the word valuable? These are the teeny little subtle shifts that I'm about to give you that are going to create a wildly different physical response in the body. Why does that matter? So to manifest, our thoughts and our feelings need to be congruent. They need to match. If our thought is I'm wealthy, but our feeling is fear or panic around money, then we've canceled the manifestation out. So Dr. Joe Dispenza says the thought sends the signal out and the feeling draws the experience back to you. The feeling is the magnet. Now, most of us are walking around with super aligned thoughts about what it is that we want, but the feeling keeps canceling that shit out and it gets frustrating, huh? I know it has for me in the past. And so what I'm looking to help you guys do is to think a little bit differently in a more useful way, to understand which words might be causing a sugar rush of emotion, or actually, what's the word that I'm looking for? Dissonance in the body, where it's canceling that thought out, where it's creating incongruency. So the ingredients to manifest are aligned thoughts and feelings. I created this mantra called See It, Speak It, Know It, Have It. These 4 steps are my custom steps to manifestation. I have a physical product brand called Freak, or Freak Rituals for frequency. We sell frequency infused products. Not currently. We had a house fire, blah, blah, blah. You guys can't access them right now, but these are the main 4 steps that those physical products teach and support. So see it, visualize, get clear on what it is that you want. So a lot of you guys are probably making vision boards right now. Cool. Love that. That's step 1. There's 3 more. Speak it is what we're going to really, really focus on today, because step 1 informs step 2, step 2 informs step 3, and step 3 informs step 4. If step 4 isn't what you want in your life, which is the habit step, then we need to go back to the drawing board and look for where's the incongruency in step 1 through 3, right? Maybe you didn't have a clear vision first. Maybe you weren't affirming it in the most useful way. Maybe the feelings weren't supporting the actions of having it, right? And when you're walking in faith and in that habit, that aligned action is like, yeah, whatever, it's on the way. I'll tell you guys a little story about how I did that last year. Then it's not going to manifest, right? Okay, so 2022, I was sitting at a table with one of my best friends, Andrea, and we were talking about what it was that we wanted to manifest this year. And I don't typically set income goals anymore. I kind of have a loose idea of like, it would be really cool if, I was just talking with Catherine yesterday and we kept going back and forth, and we love to do the, wouldn't it be fun if, and we like love to play that game back and forth with each other. She's on a fucking roll right now. Like, I literally can't touch my phone to text her without my fingers lighting on fire. That woman is on fire right now. It's so crazy and fun to watch, but we just keep going back and forth with like, but wouldn't it be fun if we did this and this and this and this, right? So last year, there wasn't that like, wouldn't it be fun if, it was just like, this is what I know. I don't know how I knew it, but I felt it in every ounce of my body because the thought and the feeling were congruent. You know how there's knowing it and then there's knowing it. What do I mean by that? Knowing is you can think the thought and logically you can comprehend it, you understand it. Knowing it is the feeling is matching. So we have logical and then we have emotional, and those two are locked in together. So there's knowing it and knowing it, and we want to make sure that we have both. So last year, I knew it. Well, here, let me say that differently, actually. Last year, I didn't know it logically, but I knew it emotionally. And because I knew it emotionally, I knew that I would eventually know it logically. So you can start first with the emotional piece. And here's what I mean by that. I sat there at that table with my best friend and I looked at her, and we had just had like a $400 something thousand year. It was a pretty, I mean, it was like, I'm going to say with air quotes, it was a rough year. Like, to anybody else, that would have been amazing. But for me, it felt rough because, again, I was still a caretaker of someone with PTSD. And it was a really, really heavy year for me. And so the fact that we did close to $500,000 with all of that going on felt like something that I was happy to appreciate. But I was sitting there and I don't know why I knew 1.2, but I knew it for sure in my body. Like I knew my name was Andrea. I knew it for sure. So I had the emotional knowingness that felt like every cell in my body from the neck down was like, mm-hmm. But logically, when I looked at my business and how I was set up and what we had done historically, I didn't know it. I didn't know how. It didn't make sense. There wasn't a logical explanation for how we would 300x my business from where it was in that moment. Well, 2 days ago, I got my final numbers for 2023. I thought we didn't hit it. And my team member, Daddy K, sent our final numbers for total sales in our business. And it said, and I quote, total sales, 1,205,472.81. We 300x'd where I was in January. I knew it for sure. And even when I thought it didn't happen, the logical part of my brain was like, whatever. I still felt it sure in my body. And I was like, well, that's weird because it just feels so certain in my body. And when she sent that message, I literally screamed my ass off. I was like, oh my God. I knew it for sure. So if you know it emotionally, but you don't know it logically yet, that's actually a more ideal place to be it. But we can work with both. And I'm going to teach you guys all about it. Okay, let's go. Stay tuned. We are going to do a completely different masterclass all on exactly how I primed my nervous system to be able to hold it. There was some pre-work done. I was intending to create a different level of wealth. I did have a very, very specific set of rituals and strategies that were RRT based, where I was priming my nervous system for that number or for an increased number. That was the number that felt like it was sure in my nervous system. And then I'm going to teach that next. So you guys will actually see that on my Instagram stories today if you guys want to participate in that next. But if you don't, this masterclass is going to get you really fucking started for 2023. Okay, so let's talk about choosing our mantras. Your standard for words will have a direct effect on the life that you create. So if you have high as fuck standards in anywhere in your life, let it start here. Why is that? Because our words cause sensations or feelings in our body, and feelings cause behavior. So we have two things happening here. We have a feeling, which is creating that magnetic vibration. So things are being pulled to you. And then your actions are creating increased potent vibration because now you're moving in alignment with the thing that you want. So we have two of the most like potent like attraction pieces for manifestation, both congruent at the same time. But it started with your words. So this is an opportunity where we get to have fun and be playful with it. And what I want to suggest is to actually be messy with it at first. In fact, what would be more useful for you is to start to pay attention to others. When you notice it in others, your mind kind of automatically applies it to self. So you're actually going to get a more interesting, quicker result by noticing in others. Well, I wonder if that was the most useful way for them to say that. And then notice their actions. And are their actions going to actually get them what they want? If their actions aren't, then we know the word wasn't useful. So how do we know if it's useful? Look at the action. Does the action seem in alignment with the thing that that person wants? If it's not, then there's an opportunity for a more useful word. So whenever I notice that I say something that doesn't feel like the most useful way of saying it, I'll actually just pause and I'll say, hey, actually, let me say that differently. Or let me say that in a more useful way. Or I wonder if there's a way that I can say that could feel like this. And I just allow myself to be playful with it. If I start to notice, how does it feel in my body? So really close your eyes, scan your body, and your body's going to tell you. And so what that looks like is you just scan your body and you check for, do I feel stronger or weaker when I say it like that? Do I have more power or less power when I say it like that? Do I have more energy or less energy when I say it like that? This is an interesting one. Do I feel taller or shorter when I say it like that? Why do I ask that? Well, we notice that you might notice even watching other people that if they say something in a way that actually starts to weaken them, their body collapses just a little bit. Someone who's not sure, notice their posture. Are their shoulders a little bit inward? Do they look a little bit caved in? Someone who's sure, is their body a little collapsed or is their body fully straight? So notice, do I feel taller or shorter? If I feel shorter, I don't believe the shit that I'm saying, or it's not the most useful way to say it. So then we just stop and say, let me try that differently. Let me say that differently. Let me try again. And it is and can become such a fun, playful exercise. But again, notice it in others first. Don't even try to even like fuck this or fuck with this for yourself first. Just spend the rest of today. Just spend the rest of the today as you're talking to people, as you're talking with friends, as you're talking with a spouse, as you're talking with a parent or whatever, just notice their words. If you can see them in person, you're not on the phone or whatever, notice their posture, notice their face, notice their eyes. Do their eyes get smaller? Do their eyes get bigger? Do they get taller? Do they get shorter? Is their face brighter? Is their face more dull? And then here's my favorite one. This is the one that I just use the most because I don't know, I feel really like connected to it is do I feel pleasure or pressure? I don't ever find that pressure is the most useful way to make a new decision, is the most useful way to take an action. Sometimes I need pressure to get started, but I don't use pressure to maintain. Meaning that sometimes I need someone to like put a little pressure on me to like clean my room or something like that. But when it comes to like the bigger manifestations, I want to make all decisions and I want to take action. I want to choose thoughts that create sensations of pleasure in my body because pleasure always equals more power. Pressure always equals decreased power. And then the last one is, do I feel expanded or do I feel limited? That one I really like because there are some mantras, there are some words that are really, really popular that are actually creating limitations in people's manifestations. People just don't know, they don't understand. So it's not like anybody's choosing that, but it is often the byproduct of it. So your body knows if you know, scan your body, okay? Okay, here's a perfect example. I was in Tulum in December, and I was on the shuttle bus next to this dude. Pretty much every time we got on the shuttle bus, we were sitting next to each other. And so I was just learning more about him. We were, networking, like, what do you do? Where are you from? Why are you here? And he was mentioning like he came actually to just like relax and get some perspective. He had been like working his butt off, realized that he was starting to feel a little bit too much pressure in his business. And he just needed a break and some perspective. And I was like, I set the intention before I left. I wanted to go to this retreat, honestly, because I felt great. And I wanted to network. I wanted to meet new cool people. I wanted to chat with one in particular person about this documentary that I wanted to start working on. And then I wanted to just be of service. And I walked in with such a full cup, an overflowing cup. And I was like, well, let me just see like how I can serve. And sitting next to him over and over, I was like, well, I have some tools that I could give him right now that could actually start to diffuse some of this pressure. And some of it was just adjusting some words. So what he kept saying to me is, I'm doing these really big deals. These new deals are really big. I've never really worked with big numbers like this before. These deals are really important. These were some of the things that he was saying to me. So he was going from, I believe, 7-figure deals to 8-figure deals. And the number in itself was creating pressure in the body. So I said, would you mind trying to say it like this? He said, sure. I said, try just saying, these numbers are really different. So he repeated after me, these numbers are really different. I said, I like doing things that are different. He repeated. I said, different keeps things exciting and fun. And I was paying attention with each adjustment of language. I was noticing his face and his posture, and he started getting taller. His eyes started getting bigger and his face started getting brighter. And so I knew the words that we were choosing were correct and resonating with him. So I said, try closing your eyes. And instead of seeing these really long linear numbers, try seeing them all scrambled. And he's like, okay. And I said, and now take a deep breath. Nice, strong, audible exhale. And think the word release. And I said, now check for the pressure. And he just looked at me and he goes, wow, you're really good. I said, thank you. Here's my card. And I gave him some more tools along the way. I was being more playful about like here's my card. Like I said, I was there to serve. I gave him some other really fun tools, some visualizations and some other exercises to diffuse pressure in his body. But mind really responds to images as well. So If the word causes an image, which words will, as long as you are using words with like hyper specificity. So if I say the word red balloon, you're likely to see red balloon in your mind. But if I say the word confident, you're probably not really sure what to see, right? So hyper specificity, red balloon. Confident, there's a lot of abstract things that could come into play. Mind doesn't really know what to do with it. So what I was looking for is to use things with like hyper specificity. So I said, see the numbers, and instead of seeing them linear, because what he was seeing was the number was longer. The longer number was creating pressure. So I said, see them scrambled, and scrambled means nothing to unconscious mind. Nothing. It's just scrambled numbers. But the numbers were still nonetheless the numbers that the deals had to do with, right? So we played with these numbers are really different instead of really big. And we like different things instead of saying things like importance. Why do we care about the number? Why do we care about the words big and importance? In this case, those two words created pressure in his body. The word important to unconscious mind is as important as life or death, meaning that it is like air. So when we say the word important, unconscious mind is like important is breath, important is water, important is food. We can't live without any of those. So when we start to describe our intentions as this is really important for this year, it's really important that notice if your body is starting to collapse or strengthen. Most of the time, I'm going to guess there's a little bit of collapsing going on. The pressure may begin to build. Change the word. Change the word. The sensation either neutralizes or improves. And when the sensation neutralizes or improves, we have more power over behavior. Who wants more power over their behavior? Has anybody ever said, like, I'm my own worst enemy? No, you're not. You just, nobody ever taught you how to talk to yourself. In fact, you're literally like your biggest homie. Like unconscious mind is your biggest homie. It prioritizes you above anything else. You just don't understand how it responds and what type of language it responds to. Unconscious mind responds to, okay, try this with me. Think about something that's causing you pressure right now. Cause the pressure for 3 seconds. Something like, oh, it'd be, I wish that I had done this last year, cause the pressure for a couple of seconds. Okay, take in a nice deep breath. Now I want you to imagine a brand new balloon. You just pulled a balloon out of a pack. Notice the color of the balloon, you choose. And then I want you to take in a nice deep breath. And I want you to blow all of the pressure into the balloon. See the balloon fully expanded. And now use the mantra, see the balloon in your hand, you're holding it. You've pinched the bottom of the balloon so that all of the pressure is now stuck in that balloon. You're seeing it in front of you. It's nice and expanded. You feel it between your fingertips and you say, I thought it had me. Now I have it. You're holding it. You thought it had you because it was all of this frantic energy inside of you that you didn't know what to do with. Now you've blown it out. You see it in the balloon and you say, now I have it. I have the power. And then you choose a release symbol, meaning you could grab a pin and you could pop the balloon to release it. You could let it go and watch it fly away and then choose to see it transmute into fireworks. So that's one of my favorite ones. Or you could even just see it turn into dust and see the balloon just like fall away and see the wind carry the dust away until it's nothingness. So pick your release technique and note, and then go ahead and take in one more deep breath. Think the word release, and then either pop it, let it go and fly and turn it into fireworks, or see it turn into dust and let the wind carry it away. Release, free, clear, gone. One more deep breath. And then just release. Check for the pressure. How do you feel? You didn't understand what your mind was responding to. Mind was perceiving that something had you, and then it saw that you had it. And then all of a sudden, a subtle sensation of power came back because mind was seeing it outside of you and that you had power over it and that it was simply just a balloon. And therefore, there was nothing to fear. Teeny little subtle shifts like that are going to change the game. Okay, so that was one of the exercises that I took my commercial real estate investor friend, and all of those like big numbers and the things that felt so big and so pressureful started turning into different numbers and fun balloons. And therefore, pressure starts to diffuse from body. So much fun, right? Okay. So let's keep going. What mantras probably need an upgrade in your life? Any mantras that create conditions for your success, or any mantras that feel restrictive in your body. So we go back to this one. Restrictive means weaker, less power, less energy, shorter, pressure, or limited, right? So an example would be, I deserve. This creates conditions in your life. I don't love this for you. Can you use I deserve in a mantra? If it feels like power in your body, keep it. I'm not here to tell you what you can and can't do. I'm just suggesting that it creates conditions, because if sometimes you deserve it, sometimes you don't. I don't like any conditions, in which case I don't deserve it. So let me tell you about words like deservingness, worthiness, and enough, and why I don't consider these the most useful words for your mantra or anywhere in your life. These words were created with positive intentions, but to control behavior. So my mentor told me this story, and it really, really stuck with me. So I'm going to share it with you. He goes, little Billy is now 5 and he needs to go off to school. And so parents are realizing, I got to make sure that little Billy actually is going to school and doing things that are appropriate for school, like not taking all his clothes off, running around, maybe peeing in inappropriate places. So what they did was they installed this electronic leash on little Billy called moral conditioning of, well, you deserve a treat because you did a good thing. You don't deserve a treat because you are a bad boy. And while that's well-intentioned, I get it. I'm a mom. I did the same thing to my kids. I remember the smartest thing I ever told my kids was, I promise I'll fuck you up and I promise I'll pay for the therapy. Take that parenting tip. It works. But although well-intentioned, now there's a lot of adults walking through this world trying to run towards the things that they want with electronic leashes on. They never got taken off. So think about it like this. This is another part of the story. I totally forgot he told this story. Actually, I had him as a guest speaker in WAP, and Catherine messaged me yesterday and she was laughing because he said that Santa must have not been real in my life, or maybe I assassinated Santa and the Easter Bunny. I was like, wait, I don't even remember this. So I went back to listen and I was like, oh yes, I remember what he was saying. So what he meant was, he was telling the story about how he's dating this woman and she had a child from another relationship. So he's like, I know better than to like interject into her parenting, right? And so they're at the playground, and her child is about to do something that mom doesn't want him to do. And she says to him, he's watching you. And Dr. Connolly's like, ooh, I don't really know what to say here. I don't want to interject. So he very quietly says, who's watching him? And she goes, Santa's watching you. He knows if you are being good. And he says to her, honey, it's September. And she goes, I didn't say anything in August. I can't wait for another second. And I was totally a parent where I'm like, he's watching you. He knows if you're good. I'm like, I promise. Look, I met the standard that I met for, or that I set for my kids. I absolutely met. I fucked you up. I'll pay for the therapy. But what we did is that we created a condition in which we are thinking that people are always perceiving us and judging us. Santa's a playful metaphor, but also very real in our lives. But we are also thinking mom and dad are watching us, making sure that we're being good and doing the right thing. And then if we're not doing the right thing, if we're not doing the good thing, if we're not doing the best thing, then we're in trouble. And if we get in trouble when we're little by mom and dad and the food bringers stop bringing the food, that could equal death. Now, if unconscious mind hasn't gotten the update around certain things that happened when we were a child, where we thought maybe it's possible the food bringers could stop bringing the food, then we want to be really good all the time, which means that we don't want to fuck up and we want to be good. And if we can't be good, then maybe we shouldn't try it all. Because it would be safer to not try than to fuck up and the food bringer stop bringing the food, which could equal death. So unconscious mind will not let us do anything that could compromise life. So when we use words like deservingness, worthiness, and enoughness, we automatically position ourselves for internal conflict. We automatically position ourselves to get weaker, decreased power, less energy, shorter pressure, and limitations. So what if we just didn't use them at all? What if we just hacked the system and we went around it? Now, this is what RRT is great for. RRT is great for like closing those old tabs and saying like, let's update that like let's update unconscious mind. So unconscious mind knows the food bringers always brought the food and we're still here and we're okay. We survived every situation that maybe unconscious mind was perceiving that we did it. So that's what like private one-on-one like RRT therapy sessions are amazing for. But in the meantime, if I have a session next week on a Thursday and it's a Tuesday and I want to manifest some shit before that Thursday, we need some hacks. So here's your hacks. Stop using deservingness, worthiness, and enoughness. Just go around. Okay. Sorry, I missed a word here on this one. Money loves me when I feel good. This creates a condition for your emotions, meaning that money's only coming when you feel good. I don't like any condition in which case money can't come to me. So I started playing with like, can I install mantras of like, money finds me when I'm sad, money finds me when I'm angry, money finds me when I'm PMSing, money finds me when I have the flu, money finds me when I have COVID, money finds it. Yes. And then I found myself just exhausted because I'm like, there's too many conditions to install here. So what if just like money finds me under any condition? Money seeks me under any condition. Then look for the evidence and appreciate the evidence under those conditions. I had COVID a few weeks ago. It was my first time ever having COVID. I hate to say this, it was great for me. It was just like a week of a nap. I didn't get that sick. And I don't mean to brag if people did get really sick, but what I want to suggest is that like, I found fun ways to like play with my mind and my body where I was like making peace with COVID. Like I played this whole game with COVID around my words of instead of trying to create resistance and weakness and less power, I was like, well, I love COVID and COVID loves me. Let's dance together. Let's play. Let's take naps together. Let's do this. And like, the more that I loved COVID, I feel like the faster COVID loved me. I don't know if that's going to work for everyone. I'm just suggesting that that could be a possible scenario. And I want everyone to have all scenarios possible to imagine. But one interesting thing is that, when I was sick, I was also noticing if I was like just chilling and I wasn't taking a nap, I was like scanning and I was watching a lot of people like panic over Christmas. And I was like, well, that doesn't seem very useful for people to be panicking during the best time of the year. And so I just did a fun little sale on my program Regulate, which helps decrease like fear, panic, pressure, et cetera, et cetera. It's an emotional regulation program, much like what I'm talking about today. And I was like, well, let me just put this on sale for everyone and like let the moms who are out like trying to make Christmas perfect for everyone give themselves a nice little Christmas present. We did $17,000 in sales. I didn't even know I was going to sell that. I made $17,000 when I was just sick with COVID. And I was like, well, that could be fun. Pressed a couple, but I didn't even ask my team for help. They didn't even know I was launching until I was launching. I was like, by the way, look what I did. Right? Money can find me during any condition, even when I'm like exhausted. And honestly, I felt like I was just needed a long ass nap and I kind of felt drunk. I felt like I was 2.5 glasses of wine in. Honestly, I thought that I was so much fun. It was kind of disappointing that people couldn't come hang with me. I was like, I'm dizzy, I'm loopy. I think I'm funnier. I'm probably funnier. I don't know. Too bad nobody can come hang with me. Okay. People love to pay me daily. This can create conditions because it's based on other people's actions. But if you have a lot of belief around it, keep it. If people are starting to pay you daily and you want to keep the momentum going, check your body. Does it make me feel stronger or weaker? If it makes you feel stronger, use it. If it creates a condition, scratch it. Sometimes things feel conditional at first, and then you can bring them in and they feel useful later. You'll always know by how your body feels. Okay. All right. Useful mantras. Any mantra that keeps the power in your body, any mantra that causes useful energy in the body, because remember, the body is the magnet. We can choose the thought. Sometimes thoughts choose us, but we can just like swipe them away and we can be like, it's like you're on a dating app. Like, I don't know which way to like swipe to get them out. Is it a swipe left? I'm asking someone who's been married since she was in high school. You're the only person I can see. We'll pretend it's swipe left. So if you have to swipe left because it's like someone you're not interested, sometimes thoughts come in. Just because you have a thought doesn't mean your thought is you. So you can just like swipe left and be like, that's not for me. Just like, remember, mine like specificity. So like see the thought on a screen and just swipe left and see it go away. Or imagine it like a piece of trash and just like pick it up, throw it in a trash can. But if you see a piece of trash in your path and it doesn't feel very useful to you, do you stick it in your pocket and keep it with you for always? No, you just throw it away. Same thing with your thoughts. If a thought comes in, it's not useful, it feels like a piece of trash, like look at it, see it turn into a piece of trash, throw it away in a trash can or swipe left. Those can be powerful visualizations for you. Any mantra unconscious can see. What I just said is the perfect example of that. Unconscious mind, seeing it in specificity, can create sensations of increased power based off of how you see it. Do you feel increased power when a thought occurs to you that doesn't feel useful and you just swipe left or you throw it away as trash? For me, that feels pretty useful because I used to think if I had a thought, it was who I am. And if the thought didn't feel good in my body, then I felt like I had an identity conflict. And then I felt worse and worse and worse and worse. I am so unthoughtful. I am so disappointing. I am so like nobody is any of those things all the time. Sometimes those are things that occur, but they're not who we are. So what I'm looking for is any mantra that unconscious can see, and can it create usefulness? Can it create energy? Can it create power? Does it feel believable? And then any mantra that's based on facts versus meanings or beingness. Why do I want to use facts versus meanings or beingness? Because facts create certainty in the body. Now, when I said that I had that $1.2 million knowingness, that felt certain in my body, but I didn't turn that into a mantra. I think if I had flooded that into a mantra over and over and over, it would have turned from certainty to pressure. So I just was like, cool, 1.2 would be fun. Wouldn't it be fun if? And then I just went about my life. I didn't really think back to it very often. Every once in a while, the thought would occur to me, but I didn't keep flooding it into my awareness because I think that would have created pressure. Here's what I did do. I did flood facts into my awareness of, oh, it's fun when I make money this way. It's fun when I get paid this way. It's fun when I sell this thing. It's fun when I exchange my talents, my usefulness for this. And those are fact-based. Meanings can sometimes be useful, sometimes not be useful. So here's what I mean by that. Your spouse comes through the door, they take off their coat, and they just toss it into a pile of coats that's been there for 10 weeks. And that pile is now falling over. And you've asked them a million times to just hang up the coat instead of put it into a pile that you keep having to pick up. And because they didn't hang it up, that must mean that they don't care about you. They don't respect you. That must mean that meaning just created a feeling in your body that doesn't feel so good. That feeling doesn't feel like a sensation of power, right? And so we have conditions, meaning like the only way that I can feel good is if somebody else does this thing. So now that's a condition that we can't control anymore. I don't love that for you. I don't love any condition in which you can't control, any condition in which you can't cause. I like for you to hold all of your power. That makes me happy when I go to sleep. I know sometimes that that's not the case. I would like to see that increase, and I would like to appreciate it every time it increases. Send me a DM every time you switch it and you're like, oh, I felt all that sensation of power come back. I get messages all the time. I just posted one yesterday where someone is saying like, I had this conflict and I held all my power the whole time. And man, those are like cocaine to me. Give it. Send those in a DM, please. Okay, so here's an example of a mantra that could create conflict. Everything I want is on its way to me now. I'm sure most of you guys have heard this mantra. I see it all over social media, all over Pinterest. And there's a couple areas here where I'm like, I just think that unconscious mind isn't going to be on board with this. And that's all I really care about is unconscious on board. Unconscious causes 98% of our behavior, or 95 to 98% of our behavior, but unconscious also causes emotion in our body. Let me give you guys this metaphor. So if we're going to go on a safari, stay with me. We're going to go on a safari. We're in Africa. We're in a super hot, like matte black open Jeep. Somebody serves us this like gold rims, also red brake pads. I was just looking at Lamborghinis yesterday, by the way. I'm like, let's turn the Jeep into a Lamborghini. This feels more fun. Open top Lamborghini. That's fun. We're in our open top Lamborghini and we're going through a safari. Let's stick with the Jeep. Okay. We're in the Jeep. We're going through the safari. We're like sipping on this like amazing, delicious, like nootropic mocktail. Maybe we put a little tequila in, it becomes a cocktail. We're just loving life, best life. The scene is so beautiful. Like you just look out and there's so much to look at, and you just look at like what Mother Earth has created. And the only sensation that you can access in that moment is almost breathlessness and awe. There's so much to see. The sun is just starting to go down. So it's like that perfect 5:30 p.m. glow. And we're looking and we see this family of zebras and they're just chilling. They don't even they do not mind us. They don't see us as a threat. They're just grazing on the grass. Some of them are laying together and just like cuddling. And we're like, oh my God, that is like the sweetest thing, seeing this like family of zebras out in the wild in the safari. And all of a sudden, all of the zebras get up at the same time and they start running faster than you've ever seen anything run in your whole life. And I'm looking at you and I'm like, what the hell is happening? What's going on with the zebras? And we turn our head, we look back and we see a lion. And we look at the lion and I say to you, and I would say, oh, the lion made the zebras run. And you would say to me playfully, and like, we love dry sarcasm because we're besties now. And you would say to me all sarcastically, you would say like, homie, I don't think that lion wants those zebras to run. I think lion wants the zebras for dinner. I think lion wants the zebras to be very sleepy and stay exactly right where they fucking were. And I'm like, oh shit, you're right. Of course, like you're always right. God damn it. So it makes sense then. And we're looking at each other and we're like, wait, okay, actually, that's pretty logical, even though we were being a smartass. So if lion didn't make zebra run, then it's probably a facet of zebra's mind that made zebra run. So if Zebra's mind caused fear in the body. Fear then makes zebra very focused, very fast. Legs for zebra and legs and arms for humans get very strong when we're afraid and there's a lion chasing us. So if we are thinking about things in our life, like husband does something, husband makes me mad, money makes me panic, this makes me afraid, it might be useful to consider the fact that our unconscious mind is the same technology that zebra is working with. So here's the good news is unconscious mind is now causing sensations to get us to take an action. Unconscious mind caused zebra to get very strong, very fast and move and go. There's no thought about it. It happened automatically. We weren't consciously thinking like, oh, zebra, let's get stronger, go. All of that happens automatically, right? How much of our life is happening automatically for us, right? Based off of what unconscious mind is perceiving. So if unconscious mind can make us afraid, unconscious mind can also make us feel pleasure. So right now, I don't even want you to think about it, but like, remember the time where it was like the best sex of your life? I do. I've got it. It's like in my mind right now. I've got it. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Best sex of your life. Don't think about it. Just for a second, think about it. Is the sensations in your body starting to change a little? I don't know. My heart just got a little faster. Heart just increased thinking about it, right? So if mind can cause pressure, mind can also cause pleasure. So wouldn't it be useful if we took that cool ass piece of technology and we used it on purpose to cause the emotion that will cause a behavior? Now, unconscious mind wants us to procreate because that's how we carry on our lineage. That's like built into unconscious mind. So we think about sexual experience and our body chemistry does start to change. We think about food. I love it when I have to like choke down spit every time I think about this one. We think about lemon and all of a sudden unconscious mind will start to cause saliva into the mouth to help us start to get ready to prepare to break down food and then digest, even though there's no food entering our mouth, right? So if unconscious mind doesn't need for it to actually be happening, we can use that to cause a sensation in our body, to cause a feeling. Now we are causing changes in the quantum field. We have all of this energy and we're now creating magnetic sensations in our body that create magnetic experiences and pull like experiences to us through the quantum field. Now we're causing manifestation instead of waiting for it to happen to us. More power or less power? More. Yeah. Thanks, Laura. Like you're the only one I can see, but I can imagine everyone else like saying more. Okay. Right. So let's go back to everything I want is on its way to me now. Well, I can't see everything in my mind, so that doesn't feel very useful. And also everything? Does unconscious mind even want everything I want to be on its way to me now? Because that could actually be a disaster. And then now, do I really believe that? Does that feel most useful? For me, I don't think that feels like the most useful way of saying that. So what's everything even mean? Let me get super hyper specific and think about one thing that I want, and then try this. I easily notice and appreciate signs that what I want is here. So swap out what I want with the thing. I easily notice and appreciate signs that I'm going to like toss in like the Lambo again, like the Lambo Urus. I can't remember. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but like the SUV version, like that I want is here. So I'm like seeing pictures of it and I'm like, oh, I notice and appreciate. Somebody texted me a picture of a matte black Lambo yesterday. And I was like, oh, are we getting matching? Wouldn't it be fun to have matching? So then you can go on a rampage and you could say, it's fun to open my eyes and look for its evidence. Of course, somebody texted me a matte black Lambo. Of course they did, because I just put that on my vision board yesterday. Of course they did. Of course we're having this conversation right now. It's so fun to be in awe of the universe, bringing me experiences to enjoy. I can enjoy it right now, even just looking at through the pictures. In fact, I could even enjoy it if I picked up the phone and I called the sales guy. I could even enjoy it a little bit more if I went and test drove it and got into the seat, and then I could smell it, and then I could taste it, and then I could look at it. I could even take pictures of myself in it. I could put that as a screensaver on my phone. I could even notice, again, I could look down at that screensaver and I could remember instantaneously the moment that I sat in it. I can smell that leather again. I could feel it I could feel that steering wheel in my hands again. And all of a sudden it's like it's happening again. Remember, we close our eyes, we think about the sex, we feel the sex, we close our eyes, we think about the lemon, we feel the lemon, we close our eyes, we think about the Lambo, we feel the Lambo. We're now causing that sensation of magnetism. And these are all factual based. We are not waiting. We are not hoping. We are not wishing. We are not even being faithful. We are not even trusting. Because sometimes those still feel abstract and we might have some trust issues. Or raise your hand if you've got some trust issues. I do. I don't really find it super useful. I see a lot of people raising their hand right now. That's fun. Do that. Let's do that more. So I don't like to even use the words like I trust blah, 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 because it just doesn't feel that useful for me. So I easily notice when, and then I go on a rampage and then I just notice it even more, and notice how you feel when you do. It feels so good. Pleasure, not pressure, right? Okay, so edit your mantra. I'm worthy of finding love. How many of you guys, raise your hand, I want to see this one actually. Raise your hand if you feel internal conflict around worthiness, especially around worthiness of love. Most of us were conditioned, even though we, like our parents often say like, yeah, I see at least a quarter of you guys right now raising your hands. Yeah. Most of us were told that our parents love us unconditionally, but then we hear parents say like, mommy really loves you when you give her big hugs and you say nice things. Mommy really loves it when you clean up your room. Like none of this was intended to be harmful, but it did create an effect that decreased power as adults. So what can we do about it? We just take out the worthiness altogether. We hack it, right? And we create a clear an intention that unconscious can see. I am love feels true for me. Now that's a belief system that feels true and correct for me. So you could try something like that. I am love and a like attracts like. It feels factual to me that like attracts like because I fully 100% have belief in the quantum field. That works for me. If it doesn't work for you, scratch it. So I am love and like attracts like. Therefore, it's cause and effect as far as I'm concerned. That feels like a science-based cause and effect for me, right? I don't know, for me, like I'm recently have left a very, very long marriage. So I'm single again. And, you know, you start to have those questions like, will I ever find love again? Like I do have deep faith in karmic contracts. So for me, I might say like, I easily notice when the baby contracts are coming. And then when the baby contracts are coming, the contracts can get bigger and the contracts can get bigger and the contracts can get better. And then I could go on a mantra like that. And that feels really fun and useful to me. But for me to say, I am worthy of finding love, even though I don't have a lot of conscious conflict around worthiness, I feel it in my body the second I say it. I instantly feel like my breath actually just got shorter, like my lungs collapsed a little bit saying that. So therefore, my power is all immediately feeling decreased. I don't love it for me. I don't love it for you either if you're having that sort of physical response. So, but I am love and like attracts like. Do you guys notice how instantly when I said that, my shoulders just like flew back? Woo! That feels true for me. I'm in. That works. For me, I always just say karma's karma. They'll be here when they're here. I don't have to have faith because I fully fucking believe in karmic contracts. If you don't use it, doesn't matter. Okay. Now here's a more useful one for you. Like, let's take spirituality out of it. It's fun to connect with long gazes and appreciate who gazes back. Can you control that? It's not, and of course someone will gaze back because that's taking power outside of ourselves based off of others' behaviors, but we are appreciating when it does happen. It's fun to connect with long gazes and appreciate who gazes back. It's fun to notice where love already exists in my life. It's fun to hang in places where people like me like the same things. It's fun to have conversations with people who like the same things as me. It's fun to notice when I'm around someone where I start to feel a little bit stronger, just even being in their presence. It's fun to even notice where I even start to feel a little bit more pleasure being in people's presence. It's also fun to notice when I start to feel a little bit increased power in somebody's presence. All of those things are factual based, they're controllable, and they all keep the power in your hot little hand. I love that for you. I love that for me. Okay. So there's an example of editing your mantra. Now here's a way to use some like different like starting points for you guys. Try starting like this, like I just did. It's fun to notice. I easily notice. I love to appreciate. It feels playful to blah, blah, blah. Wouldn't it be fun if, this is my favorite manifestation one, where it's like, I'm thinking about something that could occur today, that it could occur easily, but it doesn't matter if it happens. It would just be like, well, wouldn't it be fun if we did 1.2 million this year? Wouldn't it be fun if we 5X? Wouldn't it be fun? I did this last night. I was like, wouldn't it be fun if I just made $6,000 today? Not even care. Like, it would be fun if, but who cares if it doesn't? So these are where you can use things that are a little bit more playful and abstract, but only use this around things where it's like, it would be fun if it happened, but also I give 0 fucks if it doesn't. Only use it around things you give 0 fucks if it doesn't. Want to know what happened 30 minutes later when I said that? I got a pay in full of $6,333. I started laughing and I was texting Catherine and I was like, we got to keep going. Wouldn't it be fun if a Lamborghini drove right into my driveway today? Wouldn't it be fun if 7,000 new people signed up to get certified in rapid resolution therapy this year? Wouldn't it be fun if blah, 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 blah. Like, we literally went back and forth for like 10, 15 minutes. Okay. The universe always serves me what? What does the universe always serve you 100% of the time? The universe always serves me the perfect breath when I need it. The universe always serves me something beautiful to notice. The universe always serves me a place to go find a smile. It's called Starbucks. Okay. If it feels like blah, 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 I'm in. That's when if it feels like pleasure, I'm in. If it feels like this, I'm in. If it feels fun like Friday night, easy like Sunday morning, I'm in. That's one of my favorite mantras. I choose to, or I consciously choose to, or I consciously close. So these are things where you're like, I choose to see this. I choose to notice this. I choose to take action on this. I choose to appreciate this. I consciously close. I consciously close any text messages that are draining my power. I consciously close any apps that are causing me pressure. If I'm in Instagram, I'm not one of those people where I'm like, I can only do it during these hours of the day. But the second the Instagram or any social media app for that matter starts to feel like pressure in my body, where I'm like, oh, I might be comparing myself unconsciously, or I'm starting to feel like I'm not doing enough. I'm starting to feel like I'm behind. I need to catch up. I'm starting to feel like my content's not blah, 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 blah. Then I close it immediately and I walk away and I go do something that causes power back in my body. I just take it from myself where I'm like, you don't know how to use that appropriately right now. You can't have it anymore. Instantly, the second that it causes pressure, it decreases power, it decreases energy. My shoulders start to collapse. I'm out. Like, I throw it. It's like my phone lights on fire and I throw it. I choose to consciously close relationships that more often than not drain power, drain energy, etc., etc. I notice my power when. I notice I feel increased power when. I notice I appreciate my body when. Instead of saying, I love my body and I treat it well, because a lot of times, like, I mean, I ordered Wendy's last night, guys. When I'm on my period, I will order the crappiest. Let me say that differently. Ooh, see how I just did it? Let me say that differently. It's like an unconscious habit now. When I'm on my period, I order the easiest food that nostalgically reminds me of my childhood, and it nurtures my inner child. Notice how I changed that from crappy fast food and how that might respond in my body to something that feels like nurturing and taking care of my inner child. Now I feel nourished and cared for by that Wendy's that I had last night. But I easily notice my body's power when I hydrate a lot. I like my body feeling powerful when I hydrate a lot. I like my body feeling energy and focus when I eat things that make me feel light after I'm done eating. All of these things are factual, cause power in your body. There's no meaning attached to it. It's all cause effect. How many of you guys feel better? Do you guys like how I just changed the whole like crappy food to nurturing food, but it's still fast food? Who feels different physically in their body about it. And guess what? When I tell myself that I can have anything that causes power in my body, especially power in my body that lasts and sustains long after the actual thing. So if I eat the food, I didn't eat all of it. I just ate for as long as it felt like it was creating nurture in my body. And then as soon as it didn't anymore, I was done. But if I think I can't ever have it again, or I can only have it once when I'm on my period, and that I'm a really bad girl when I have it, and blah, 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 all of those conditional things, I'm most likely to eat all of it because I think I'm never going to get to again. And now I'm decreasing power. Do you guys see how this language causes behavior shifts? Get it? Got it? I'm not even going to say good, because if it's good sometimes, it's bad sometimes. I'm going to say useful. Sweet, useful. Okay, let's go through some mantras and let's critique. Let's say, start to notice how they feel in your body and think like, does this feel like power or energy, or does it feel like decreased power or energy, pleasure or pressure, et cetera, okay? I am capable of doing hard things. I can find evidence in my life where I can prove this to be true. This feels useful sometimes. If I'm really having a hard time doing a hard thing and I'm giving myself a little bit of a hard time about it, that maybe doesn't feel like the most useful thing. So I might start with a smaller bite, and I would say, I'm capable of starting. And I'm capable of noticing if I feel like continuing. That is just enough for me to get started and decide if I want to keep going. Most of the time, it's the start that stops most people. So let's say like I'm capable of doing hard things, and it's like, well, I'm going to commit to exercising 5 days a week. I could say I'm capable of starting and deciding if I want to continue. If it's a habit that I haven't created yet, and if I promise myself I'm capable of doing 5 minutes of exercise and I get started, most of the time, by the time I'm 5 minutes in, I'm like, ooh, I'm kind of glad I'm here. Kind of want to stay. Kind of feeling good. Right? So how do you hack it for you? Bit by bit, I'm creating a life that I love. I like that because it's small. But what's a life that you love? Unconscious mind doesn't get it. It's too abstract. Can we make it hyper specific? Bit by bit, I'm creating more space in my calendar for creativity. Bit by bit, I'm creating more space in my calendar for me, for what I want, for what I need, for nourishment. Okay, I'm poised to attract success and happiness. I don't feel very much power in my body when I think about that, even though I am poised to attract success and happiness. I have tons of success and happiness. But when I read that, I don't know, maybe it's because the word attract doesn't resonate with me there, because I just feel like my life is success and happiness. So I could say that differently, where I could say, what we already have, we attract more of, right? If we don't care if we have it, we tend to attract it really fast. So if I start to look for evidence of, I love to appreciate this success, and then I label that success, and I say, like, for me, I could look at, let's say, for success, I could say, I easily notice and appreciate payment plans. I have a payment plan. I have at least a payment plan, if not a lot of payment plans, come in every day now in my business. So I could work on amplifying that to increase my residual income, right? So that could work for me. But happiness, we're not just happy all the time. So that doesn't even feel possible to my unconscious mind. It doesn't feel believable. It doesn't feel useful. But what does feel useful is I easily notice things that cause sensation of happiness. I easily remember moments of happiness. The second that I remember a moment of happiness, the first thing that comes to mind right now is me holding my son, right? I can see a picture of me holding my baby. I can see, like, my daughter when she was little, like, running towards me with that, like, gummy smile. I can see this, like, cute little, like, knitted shawl that she was wearing, and that, like, adorable little outfit, and her, like, running towards me, not sure if she's about to face plant. Like, I can think about that, and I can cause happiness in my body in that moment. And I easily can notice more things that have happened and things that are happening. Okay. So there's some examples on self-love. Let's go over at these ones. These ones, let me tell you why I wouldn't use almost any of these. Because we're never any of these things all the time, and unconscious mind can't see it. So it's not going to often cause power in your body when you say, I am powerful. But when you say, I notice sensations of power, when that feels absolutely believable and you can cause it in a moment. That's what I desire for you. I don't want you to have to conjure energy to get there. I want you to cause energy to get there. Do you understand how that would be different when you're trying to, like, muster a belief around it versus causing it simply by saying something that is an undeniable fact? I feel sensations of power when I wake up in the morning and I immediately put my running shoes on. I feel sensations of power when I finish my workout. I feel sensations of power when I cross 3 things off my to-do list, right? What we want is to create that hyperspecificity, because the hyperspecificity causes sensations. Sensations cause behavior and also inform the quantum field of what to bring more to you. All of those, I like those. Those are teeing you guys up for a super sexy life. Okay. Enoughness. I just don't want you guys to have to overcome so much to get that mantra to work for you. It just feels like, why can't we take the private plane over the mountain instead of trying to climb it ourselves? Okay. Okay. So here's some around money. I am a money magnet. I always attract abundance, prosperity easily and effortlessly into my reality. That word always cancels everything out for me. I'm like, well, it doesn't always feel easy for me. I don't always attract it when I want it. So therefore, it doesn't feel believable. So I'm just not going to use that one. Right? But what I could say is money feels effortless when, and then I look for evidence of when money feels effortless. And then I try to amplify that and increase it, do more of it, appreciate more of it, inform the quantum field that I like it. You know, when like you're with someone who's just super in tune and you're like, I like that. And they do more, that's the quantum field. It wants to give you more of what you like. But also when you focus on what you don't like, all it hears is more. All the quantum field ever hears is, oh, you want more. More, 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 more. I want to give you more. I want to give you more. So let's put some intention around the more of which we're informing the quantum field that we want. It doesn't understand I don't want. It just negates the don't. It's just like more, more and more and more and more and more and more, right? So let's inform it consciously. Let's cause, right? Okay, so 10 money mantras to manifest financial wellness in 2022. I actually really liked these ones. I didn't read through, let me go back through each of them, but I am wealthy in more ways than one. That feels certain in my body. That feels really certain in my body. I can look at my health and I can feel wealth there. I can look at the love that I have with my children and I can feel wealthy there. That one immediately I was like, yep, love it, keeping it. I feel power in my body when I think about it. My best investment is in myself. Yep. That one feels certain in my body. Every time I invest in myself, I get some type of ROI, whether the ROI is immediate or long-term. I can look back. I'm 40 now. I have a lot of perspective. That's what happens when you get older. You just get more perspective. I have a lot of wealth in perspective, in all of my wisdom and perspective. So I can look back and I can look at some of the investments that I made when I was really, really young, even some of the mistakes I made, what I can consider investments now, and I could see how that actually did benefit me. That hindsight proves that one true for me. So does that feel like more power in your body or less power? If it feels like less power, scratch it. You don't need it. Pick a new one. I'm teaching you guys how to recreate it for yourself. I have the power to create wealth in the life that I desire. So look for evidence. Look for hyper specific evidence. Is this true? I'm on the road to financial freedom. Even though I have financial freedom and I literally live on that road, I don't know why that one just feels like all of a sudden I feel like, oh, only maybe because earlier in my career, that didn't always feel true for me. And so maybe there's something along the lines of like, that wasn't always true. So like, what if it's not always true or like, whatever, I don't know. It's just like, all of a sudden I just feel like this ickiness in my stomach. So I'm like, swipe left. No, thanks. I spend money with intention. I am grateful for my choices. So what I would do is I would change this a little bit and say, I appreciate when I spend money with intention and I am grateful for those choices, because I don't always spend money with intention, even though I'm very, very aware. And I really notice when I'm using my money and I feel like increased power or decreased power, every once in a while, shit makes its way into my cart. And I'm like, how'd you get here again? Target, man. I swear that place is laced with black magic. I don't know. I just go unconscious. I go to sleep the second I walk through the doors, right? But I'm grateful, or I appreciate when I choose with intention of when to go unconscious at Target. How about that? I know it's going to happen when I get there. I'm not an idiot. So I'm choosing the most powerful scenario that makes sense for me. Okay. So how's that feel in your body? Does that feel different? Okay. Here's a couple more. Money flows easily to me. Money doesn't always flow easily to me, but it does sometimes. So I would just want to edit that one a little bit and say, I appreciate when money flows easily to me, because then it removes the conflict that it's an always and reminds me that sometimes it really does. And then I get to focus in and I can even think about a hyper specific moment of when it did and be like, oh, that felt so easy. Yesterday when I was like, 6K more would be super fun. 30 minutes later, $6,333 came in and I was like, oh, that was super fun. Yep. I can go back to that moment and be like, that was really easy. I literally just vomited that into the quantum field and the quantum field vomited it back to me. That was fun. Money was flowing easily to me in that moment, right? I am a money magnet scratch that one because I'm not always a money magnet. Sometimes I'm repelling money because my nervous system doesn't feel regulated up to certain amounts. I am a money magnet for, I could insert what my minimum is around money that I know for sure in my body, I will never make less than this. And then I could make that true for me. So that could be a little edit there. I am a money magnet for this amount. And then you could say, it's always fun when the universe over delivers. It's fun to notice and appreciate when the universe over delivers, right? Okay. Making money is fun. That feels true for me all the time. But I set that standard that I set that standard that I will only exchange money when it feels fun. That is a standard that I am relentless in my life. I won't take it if it feels like pressure, because I know that there's always another bucket of money that feels like pleasure. Oh, that was a good one. I know that I won't take it if it feels like pressure. There's always another bucket that feels like pleasure. Take that, use it. I love that one. That's a great mantra that feels really true for me. If it feels like power and true for you, keep it. Okay, so can we do Q&A? Are there questions? Oh, I can see. Okay. Food bringers. This is why we go out to eat to celebrate. Yeah. Hi, Lou. Lou's my CFO, guys. I love that my CFO attends my master classes. You're the best. How to unfuck kids. I've been guilty of this. My child is 4. Yeah, I feel like there's just no way to unfuck them. Like, you're dealing with an unconscious mind that's irrational, and it's going to store information irrationally. And there's no way to not fuck up your kids. So that's why I made that promise. I'm like, there's just no way I'm going to get this right, because your equipment is broken. Doesn't matter if I've got mine all sorted out. Between the ages of 0 to like 8 to 10, we're dealing with only unconscious mind, only irrational. There's just no way to not fuck them up. So that's why I promised, for sure, I will fuck you up. For sure, I'll pay for the therapy. How do you reconcile mantras, causing power, useful energy versus something like money finds me under any condition or when you're sad? You think I answered that one already? I did answer that one already. Okay. Never mind. I think I answered it. Yep. See, great. Can you do some examples around weight loss? Also, I did. I am worthy of love. Makes me questioning my worthiness every time I think of it. I agree. It's restricting for me too. Yeah. So I got a message from a client saying they are ready for coaching out of nowhere. This was the pressure I released in our balloon exercise earlier, and my clients around income. Yeah, congratulations. I love that. Okay, I can see how these would be so helpful for my clients who want to lose weight. So many weight loss affirmations actually create more resistance. Yes, you are going to be so freaking useful and create so much more power for them when you help them create some custom ones with them. And just so you guys know, if you ever don't know how to like regurgitate this, we have a killer 50% affiliate program. Just message my team, get signed up for affiliate program. If you share this masterclass, you'll get 50% commission. There's another great mantra that I love. Like, we love fun new income streams that feel like pleasure. We love fun new income streams where we don't actually have to deliver any of the work. I love this. I make a lot of money from affiliate income. So I love selling other people's things that I don't actually have to deliver. It's just like the easiest money in the world. Can you do one-worded affirmations if it causes you power? And if you can see something, so what you could do is you could take a visual that your unconscious mind already knows how to interpret, and you could anchor a word to it that will trigger that visual that will therefore cause the sensation. So what do I mean by that? Let's create one. So let's say that I'm like having trouble coming up with one words, but what I keep seeing is like a genie in a lamp. So it's like, okay, let's say like I easily notice what I need and I give it to myself. There's like a whole mantra. of like noticing like what you would need that would nourish you, strengthen you, energize you. And then I could just see, it doesn't even have to be a word. I could just see the genie in the lamp. And it's like, I give myself what I need. Your wish is my command. You're welcome. Right? That's how you could do something like that. I fucking loved this. Thank you. You're welcome. I love this too. Thank you guys. Mantras for relationships and love. Keep it about yourself. Keep the power within. So that was actually, in fact, we'll just go back to that one and I'll help you a little bit more. I can't like move this. There we go. Okay. So instead of I'm worthy of finding love, here's one like, it's easy and fun to hang in places where people like me like the same thing. It's easy to notice. Remember when I said it's easy to notice when I'm around people that make me feel more powerful. It's easy to note. Let me say that differently. Actually, I don't like that. It's easy to notice when I feel power, when I spend time in these circumstances. I don't want to ever say it's easy to notice when that person makes me feel powerful, because that's not true. That person doesn't make me feel anything. My unconscious mind makes me feel powerful. So I hold the power within. I easily notice my sensation of power. I easily notice my sensation of pleasure. I easily notice my sensation of this when I am blah, blah, blah. Keep the power within. I easily bring myself to these scenarios. I easily, say, or you don't have to say easy, like you could say like, I feel grateful when I initiate conversations with people of interest. That power stays within you. I know women, especially, I know most of you guys are women, not all of you, but like women, especially, we struggle when it comes to like mantras for love around like, we're supposed to be courted and we're supposed to like be magnets for like men seeking us, but that like takes all of the power outside of you and gives all the power to them. So what I want to suggest is like, we can be and appreciate like men who will take initiative, but they don't always have to take the first. I like the power of like initiating a conversation with the person that I'm interested in instead of hoping, praying, wishing on a prayer. That's not the right one, but you know what I mean. Okay, let me go back to these. How do I use the yeah, but like that to sneak up to rewrite a mantra? I don't love the word but, so I'm not, and I also don't understand your question. So if you could rewrite that in a way, if you could rewrite that, we'll see if I understand what you mean. Do we always need to release older images or words like the pressure in the balloon, or can we just rewrite our mantras? And if they feel good in our body, it just goes with those without the need to go back and release. Yeah. If you feel power around it in the way that you wrote it, there's nothing to release. You only have power. I love that for you. That's the hack. That's you choosing the private jet over the mountain instead of you, I used the pressure exercise for you guys to show how to move pressure around something that's already existing so that you can then cause pleasure, right? So if you're having pressure around money and you're like, I can't even get to a good mantra yet, use the balloon exercise. That will help you pull the pressure out of you. You now have it. It doesn't have you. And then release it, pop it, check and scan your body, and then go back to a new mantra. How do we overcome confidence issues within our subconscious when making our mantra? Use things that are factual. Indisputable proof. That's it. I love the little RRT exercise. I'm opening up to new levels of wealth. What programs do you recommend? My program, WAP, Wealth Alignment Program, is where I do all the unconscious programming for you around money. So you lean back, you listen to the sound of my voice, I do the thing. I do all the heavy lifting. I cause the change in unconscious in WAP. So you guys don't walk away with homework necessarily, except for the fun stuff where it's like, go make the vision board. And like, now you know how to go through and delete a lot of the unconscious resistance around getting there. Do we need to always use release? Oh no, I already did that one. What do you think about using the word desire in our mantra? How does it make your body feel? To me, I actually don't really so much care which word you pick. I care that you notice, does it cause power or take power? So if the word desire causes power, great. Now, when it comes to manifestation, desire means that it's outside of you. Desire means that you don't have it, and we attract who we are and what we have. So desire it being separate from you is creating separation in calling it in. So I could see how it could be useful to swap the word desire and appreciate what already is that represents the desire. So meaning like the Lamborghini example of like, I love it and appreciate it when I can like smell that smell of leather. Or even like the ones of love. I love it when I notice when somebody locks eyes with me and we exchange a long gaze and there's a nice smile after. It feels so good. It's easy to notice. I like it when people do that. And you're just noticing what is, what's factual, what's indisputable. When we notice what is, we attract more of it. How frequently do I have to use a mantra to make it stick for unconscious? I mean, I could use a mantra once and it just creates the physical response that I'm looking for in my body, and then it's served its purpose. But if you like a mantra, set a reminder on your calendar where it pops up often and you see it until it becomes something that you remember and you say all the time. At first, you could just play with it and you could say like, the money in the buckets one, you could say like, I love it when, I love saying no to money that feels like pressure because there's always another bucket of money that feels like pleasure. And then start to look for evidence of where you've earned money that felt like pleasure in your life, even if it was just for a moment. Let's say you had a whole career and the career kind of ended with pressure, but there was moments of pleasure. Anchor into the single moment of pleasure. And you're like, yeah, that worked. That worked. We're just looking for factual evidence that can be indisputable so we can create more of it. Mantras for calling in clients. So again, going back to something that would be useful. So you could say, let me say that differently. You're looking for things that are indisputable, something factual, true, and going back to starting like this, you could say, I easily remember interesting stories to talk about on social media that highlight my skill. It's fun to notice when people reflect back to me that this could be useful in their life. It's fun to notice. Can somebody, Lorelai, do you have my dad's number? Can you text him and tell him I'm late and I'm sorry? I don't remember if you have his number or not. Nobody has my dad's number. I got to change that. Okay. I'm supposed to be on the phone with my dad, but I'm with you guys. Okay. So look for something where it's like, I easily notice, I appreciate when, this could be fun if, wouldn't it be fun if I tried this? Wouldn't it be fun if I played with this? Wouldn't it be fun if let me just text my dad and tell him, hold on.
Nicole texted him.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Okay. Go, Daddy Nicole.
Thanks, Daddy. Thanks for texting my dad, Daddy. How would you create a mantra around something if you don't have a hyper specific moment yet? Look harder. You do. So, situation, just starting my business and I haven't received money yet. So creating a money mantra feels unbelievable. Good. I love that you're like, I'm not even going to try to create a money mantra. So go back to actions that you know would create money and create mantras around the actions. So, and there are specific examples of like, well, it's fun when I give advice and people are just like, huh, that's interesting. I never thought about it that way. So let's say you're starting a coaching business and you're appreciating when a perspective that you can offer causes a positive effect on someone. There's an example. Use that as a mantra. I think every time I think of a number, I feel pressure and my revenue dips. Should I try to scramble the numbers and mantras like you're feeling? Or you could use a really random number. So let's say you've been trying to hit like the coveted like 10K month for a really long time. Then say like, wouldn't it be fun if I collected little baby buckets of pleasure money along the way to $11,202.22? Does your unconscious mind feel pressure around that really random weird number? If it does, then just say like, wouldn't it be fun if I collected little buckets of money through doing things with pleasure? And then I just did it faster and faster and faster. Wouldn't it be fun if I could even do it faster? Wouldn't it be fun? It's so fun to appreciate when I made $200 a day. I wonder how fast I could make $200. I wonder if I could make $200 even faster than that. I wonder if I could make $200 even faster than that. I wonder if I could make $200 even faster than that, and see if you can start to collapse time. There's always a way to say it differently to get to the same place. Okay, I'm going to take one more because I'm so late for my dad and I really want to honor that time with him. So I love you guys. Let's see. When are you and Catherine doing a masterclass together? I'll ask her about that. That'll be fun. Do you create a mantra for selling offers? Yes, I create a mantra for selling offers around controllable behaviors. It's so fun to sell things that feel like sex in my body. It's so fun to sell things that just like make me jump up and down that I just can't wait to tell people about. It's so fun to sell things that I could do in my sleep. It's so fun to sell things that feel really beautiful and pleasurable to me. It's so fun to notice when things that I like, other people like too. Do you get the point? Yes. Okay. I'm going to do this one too. Mantras for a health issue. Don't talk about the health issue. Talk about where other things are working well. It's really fun to notice when my body would work really well. It's really fun to notice even the fact that like my nails grow really fast. It's even fun. Let's say you're having like digestive issues, but your nails are growing really fast. It's really fun to notice when my body just does when my body's just working so well. It's really fun to notice that my nails are growing really fast. It's really fun to notice that my nails are really strong. It's really fun to notice that my hair is growing really long. It's really fun to notice that my skin looks bright today. It's really fun to notice when my eyes look really bright today. It's really fun. I really appreciate, I really like go back to this starting here. I notice my body feels powerful when I notice my body feels pleasure when I notice my body feels strength, when I notice my body feels vitality, when I really appreciate when my body feels vitality when I do this, etc. Keep it super controllable and notice where it is working. And then with health issues, highly 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10 recommend doing private sessions with Dr. John Connolly. 12 out of 10. So much of our health issues start with unconscious. Okay, that is all I have. I have to get to my date with dad. And I love you guys. I appreciate you. Oh, hold on. I had something to tell you guys. My team would be so mad. First of all, I have two, thank you, Lorelai. I knew you were about to tell me. I have two gifts that I'm going to give away. I'm going to give away 2 copies of the Life-Changing Conversations with Dr. John Connolly. So who are the names for those? Do you have those?
I do. Drum roll. Amber Graham and Lauren Courtney are winners for the book. So can you please email us at hello@andreacrowder.com with your shipping information? We'll get it sent out to you.
Yes. Yeah. Message us. We'll get these shipped out to you. And then somebody asked me this week, they said, can you create a masterclass on how you do your future self activation? So like, what did I do to call my future self into the present, AKA like that $1.2 million year? What were the things that happened before I knew that for sure? How did I do that? What did I do? How did I start to create things that I thought were going to be super futuristic and collapse time, pull them into the present really, really fast? They said, will you create a masterclass on this? And I was like, that sounds super fun, super bomb. I love it. So you guys can actually essentially get this masterclass for free if you do want to sign up for the Future Self Activation. My team will drop links in chat and also email them out to you. And you guys can just use the code. I don't know if I told you guys the code. You guys might have actually created a code.
I did. It's activate me, all capital letters, no space.
Okay. Ignore my code that says mantra and use the code activate me and you guys will get $55 off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
great. We're on the same page there. You guys will get $55 off, which means you just got this masterclass for free. If you want to join us for the next masterclass, the Future Self Activation, where I'll show you a lot of like that collapsing time stuff. So that sounds super fun. I love you guys. I appreciate you. This was so much fun. Please DM me when you guys are getting this. You're feeling that power, you're feeling that pleasure, and it's starting to become really natural. I love this for you. I want to celebrate this with you. Send me those DMs. And then also, if you guys want to share this masterclass, sign up for our affiliate program. If you guys just want to share it and give me all the money, cool. I just love to pay you back and thank you and appreciate. Oh, somebody just signed up for our affiliate program. Okay. Love you guys. I just saw that.
We
Okay.
will also send an email with all the links, everything we mentioned in 7 days. Within 7 days, you'll get access to the private podcast feed where you can listen to this over and over. And we'll also send a video replay, the slides, you get all the goods. Just hang tight. It'll come in your email.
Nice. Another affiliate. So much fun. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.